Welcome to Pucks, Picks, and Parlays, the podcast where we talk about pucks, picks, and you guessed it, parlays.
I'm going to be your host, Blad, also known as Kyle. Most of you guys obviously know me as Blad from either my other YouTube channel or this YouTube channel that I'm dusting off. Hi, guys, if you haven't watched a video of mine in 5 years. Hockey's back. I told you
Like
it would be
Ducky.
back. No, it's Blad. Blad HC. Thank you very much. It's been Blad for a minute. I'm going to introduce myself. This is episode 1 of our podcast. Welcome. This is our little side project we got going on. First off, I'm Blad, obviously. Massive Panthers fan, as you can tell by the jersey and the shelf full of Panthers stuff and then Panthers hats on the other side over there. One day we'll do a deep dive into all the stuff. Basically, I grew up in South Florida. Massive Panthers fan. I also am a content creator as like a side job, as well as my real job outside of work, which we're not going to get into on the podcast for obvious reasons. But I am a content creator, so I do make video game videos. If you guys are interested in that, my channel will be in the link down below. Hockey is my favorite thing in the world, though, so that's why we started this podcast. Go Panthers, go!
All right, and there's the Panthers man. We call him Florida man for a reason. Anyway, I'm Zach. You're not so degenerate Leafs fan, as I have the arena's jersey on. I started watching hockey probably. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Anyway, it's a Matthews jersey though. But I grew up about an hour out of Toronto, so growing up, I kind of just watched the Leafs mostly. But I kind of just started watching it religiously once the Leafs stopped sucking and got out of the first round. They still kind of suck though. I usually watch and cry as the Leafs get their first round exit as normal. You can find me in the Discord most of the time, just hanging out. Occasionally you'll find me streaming on Twitch. I play kind of a variety of games, so it's nothing really set in stone. But yeah, that's me.
We will link that Discord down below if you guys want to join the conversation. But we're going to move into some of the recap from last season. First of all, let's cover obviously the most relevant one is the Florida Panthers did win the Stanley Cup. The drought of having the team around forever, being one of the couplest teams that's been around, is finally over. The Panthers have brought a cup to South Florida. This also was the the fourth time in the past 5 years that a Florida team has made it to the Cup final. Because I believe it was Tampa, and then Florida. So that's quite interesting. Also to note from the last season recap is the Toronto Maple Leafs were out in the first round again. They made it past the first round last year, but
Shocker.
They didn't really go far. So that's quite interesting. The Edmonton Oilers almost pulled the upset of the century, not just in hockey, but in all sports. And, well, they didn't. So, sucks. But
it would have been the best comeback in sports history. That could be a hot take, but
I will also, just because we're doing a quick recap of last season, Connor McDavid had probably one of the best postseason runs.
Beat Gretzky's record for points.
I don't think it was the best postseason run of all time. I'm sure there's going to be some debate about that, and I'm probably going to get hit for that for being a Panthers fan. That was the top 3 postseason run of all time. I argue that he is the reason the Oilers were there. If he wasn't on the team, Oilers probably wouldn't have made it that far in there. Just to cover that last series of the Cup final, Leon Draisaitl didn't exist. Never heard of him.
Nope.
McDavid, first 4 games, didn't really exist either, but doesn't matter. Bob is a Stanley Cup champion.
There's a reason I almost bought a Bob jersey.
Alexander Barkov is a Stanley Cup champion.
He's gonna go through the whole list.
Matthew Tkachuk.
Yep.
Chucky
Uh-huh.
is a Stanley Cup champion. My boy Aaron Ekblad is a Stanley Cup champion. Well, I'll just save you the time. The Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions. There, I said it. You guys are welcome. I'm just getting that out there because it's very important to hear. But
this is the guy who was screaming "yes" in his truck when he was on his way home from work, or right after they won the Cup, by the way. Screaming.
Should have heard me in the kitchen when it happened. Anyways, moving on from the postseason to the regular season, Austin Matthews hit a career high 69 goals. Nice. Last season.
Nice.
So
yep.
He did win the Rocket Richard, meaning he did lead the league in goals. So that's really good. Also, Macklin Celebrini has been drafted to the San Jose Sharks. So that's pretty
Can we talk about how that was the most dull, boring draft lottery ever? It went exactly what it was predicted to go. There was nothing cool that happened. Like last year, where was the Blackhawks went from third to first.
Yeah.
This year was just straight through.
You can make the argument. I have a grand idea to fix the draft, and it would be completely a way to make it super entertaining. But that's a conversation for another day. I hate the lottery. I hate the draft lottery. It's stupid. I don't think there should be a lottery for the draft. We'll get into what I think another episode of what should happen. Moving on to the last thing we're going to talk about last season is Alexander Ovechkin still scoring goals. He is now 41 behind Wayne Gretzky. Oh, my goodness. So
the man himself.
Yeah, the best hockey player of all time. Not even up for debate, Wayne Gretzky. I know some people are going to say McDavid. So I'm just going to ask you this. What was the most shocking thing that happened last season to you? Like, in your opinion, what was the most shocking thing that happened? I'm putting you on the point here. This wasn't written down, but we're going with it.
I think of what was kind of wild that happened that was not expected.
I'll give you mine, and shocking value, besides the Panthers winning the Cup, obviously, I'm going to say the most shocking thing that happened, in my opinion, was the Pittsburgh Penguins missing the playoffs. I did not expect that to happen at all.
The biggest shock for me was watching the Flyers, how they were doing so well for so long, and then they just dropped. Same as the Coyotes. The Coyotes were doing very well for the first little bit of the season, and then they dropped. It was gone. They were the Flyers were almost made it to the playoffs. They were so close, and then they just gone. They dropped off.
We're still doing a recap of last season. That Arizona Coyotes no longer exist.
Oh yeah, that is true. They're going to Utah, Salt Lake City.
Yeah, so Utah now has a hockey team, and it is the former Arizona Coyotes. So
Utah Hockey Club.
Arizona Coyotes.
What do we think the team's going to be? What do you think the name's going to be?
That's a good question. The Yetis.
I think the Yetis. The Yetis sounds like a really cool name, or the Blizzard. I really like the Blizzard.
We don't want a Blizzard. We already have the Avalanche.
That's true.
My debate for that is
Utah Venom was another cool one. I don't like the name, but the color scheme.
Venom would only be cool if they had purple jerseys, and if they could get like a Marvel sponsorship.
They get a Marvel sponsorship. Holy shit! Mighty Ducks too.
Because Disney already lost money on a hockey team once, and I don't think they're ever going to do it again. But if you can get the Marvel sponsorship behind it and have like the Venom like superhero as your logo, that would be pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree.
I would say though, Yeti. Let's be honest. It's gonna be Utah.
The Mammoth wasn't bad.
Mammoth would be cool.
It was. Think of that. Having a Mammoth mascot, that would be sick. That would be cool.
It would be sick. I still think the Yeti.
I agree. Having a Yeti go around just cause terror in hockey games would be hilarious.
Although there has been a Yeti mascot in the past, I'm pretty sure the Avalanche have a second mascot that was a Yeti. I could be wrong on that.
What is the Avalanche mascot now? I don't even know what it is.
It's a dog. It's like a Saint Bernard.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Is it a Saint Bernard? I forget what they're called. The ones that have like the carrier.
It's a Saint Bernard.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I get it right. Yeah, theirs is a Saint Bernard. Anyways, moving on. So we're gonna move on. This is gonna be our way too early season predictions. So if you think they're wrong, you're probably right. But this is our season predictions. So we just gave you a little bit of a recap because we wanted to give you that before we move into this. This is where we're really gonna do a deep dive. My first question for you is, as a Leafs fan wearing the Matthews jerseys, does Matthews reach 69 goals again? Nice.
I don't think so. I have a funny feeling he's going to fall short.
How short?
Not by much. I think 65 goals, I don't think he's going to get more than.
Do you think he's going to score a nice 67?
I don't think so.
Like a 1967?
Okay. You're so funny.
You kind of
honestly, sure. Yeah, I'm going to go 67 goals. That's not a bad thing. I don't think he hits 70. I don't think no. I think maybe he might hit 70 maybe next year. But this year, I think he might fall off a little. Not fall off, but I think he might just kind of chill out a little bit.
I think goal scoring, we're about to see a massive surge in goal scoring. This is my prediction. It's gone up every year. It felt like the last 3 years it's gone up. I feel like we have somebody hit 75 goals this year. This is a hot take.
Think so?
I think
in my opinion, if anybody's going to hit it, it's Sam Reinhart.
I
He
I don't.
did so well for goal scoring, and now he's got an even better team behind his back than he did last year, in my opinion. Some of the changes they did, I think, is better. I
You can
think
argue the
Sam
top.
Reinhart will hit 75 before Matthews does.
I disagree. As a Panthers fan
Really?
who watches Sam Reinhart play, I think Sam Reinhart played this well. One is because he was on a contract year, and players always show out on a contract year, but also for the sheer fact that he he's not just a goal scorer. He doesn't have to be that guy. Matthews kind of has to be that guy in the Leafs.
Yeah, the Leafs
Sam
suck.
Reinhart can literally do whatever he wants. The top six, I know the Leafs are known for having a core four. The Panthers have a core six. The top six is exactly the same. We brought the top six back. Matthews, Matthew Kachuk, not Matthews. I'd love to have him on the Panthers if we don't lose anybody. Kachuk, Barkov, Londell, Bennett, Verhage, Reinhardt. Like the top six is still the same, and I don't think Sam Reinhart hits 50 goals this year. I think he sits around 45 to 50. I don't think he's the only 40 goal scorer on the Panthers. I think that there will be another player who erupts this year in goal scoring. We'll get to that in a minute. I do think Austin Matthews does pass 69 goals. I think Matthews goes over 70, but I don't think he's the only player that goes over 70. I don't think he's the only player in the Atlantic Division that goes over 70 goals.
Linux is they're Titans, man. Like,
I feel so bad for the Sabres who just got good, and same with the Red Wings. They just got better, but it doesn't matter because you still have the two Florida teams, the Lightning and the Panthers, are not going anywhere. The Lightning are going to be very interesting to see how they do with Steven Stamkos not being there anymore.
Nashville?
That's crazy.
That is
The
wild.
Maple Leafs are still going to be where they are. The Bruins, are they going to finally take a step back? We say that every year, and they never actually take a step back. So, like, that top four for the Atlantic kind of stays the same. You can interchange maybe Detroit in there for, like, Tampa. Maybe. I don't know. We don't know how they're going to be. Maybe for Boston. We don't know how Boston's going to be. But teams like Buffalo and Ottawa and Montreal, like, they're just dead in the water at this point. I do think that there's another player in the Atlantic that reaches 70 goals, and I think it's David Pastrnak.
Yeah. Pasta's got that goal scoring anger behind him after he got his shit kicked in by Matthew Kachuk. Pasta that thinks he's top shit. He's not top shit. Goal scoring, he's great. But I think I agree. I think Pastrnak, if there's going to be three people that hit 70 this year, it's going to be Pastrnak, Matthews, and I don't know. I don't know who I think will be the third.
Well, you just said that you believed Reinhardt would lead
No.
the league in scoring.
But you made a good point. You made a good point about Sam Reinhart. He kind of had his blow up year, right? So we'll see. Pastrnak and Matthews, I think either they hit 65 or more.
So my
I don't know.
prediction, I'll give you my prediction. I think that Matthews passes 70 goals. I think David Pastrnak passes 70 goals. I think there's a player that reaches 60, high 60s, maybe mid 60 goals as well, but I don't think it's anybody in the Atlantic that does it. I think another player from another team surprises us and reaches those heights. Maybe somebody among the name of Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. I don't
Brock
think they're
Besser?
gonna. No.
You don't think Besser's gonna get high? I don't think he'll be 70, but like I think Besser's going to be.
Actually, I'm gonna take back my take. I don't think it's McDavid or Draisaitl. I think it's Zach Hyman because McDavid's just gonna continuously shoot the
Mr.
puck
Stand
off.
beside the net.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna continuously set him up. I think Zach Hyman has a crazy season. Honestly, like I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. This is our way too early season predictions for a reason. So, out of every player in the league, who wins the goal scoring title next year?
Do you think Pasta blows up enough? Do you think he's gonna take off and score 1,000,000 goals?
I think Pasta has his best season next year.
I agree.
I think the Bruins as a whole are taking a step back, but I think because they're taking a step back, Pasta's going to have the best season he's ever had.
They want revenge. They want revenge. Like they really need it. They almost choked to the Leafs last year. We brought it to 7. I don't know how. The didn't matter anyway because the Panthers, the god that the Panthers was the past 2 years, absolutely rolled them. It wasn't even close.
It
Last
was, it
year,
was it was close. It wasn't as big as a blowout as you
it,
may
it
think. It
didn't
wasn't
go
a
to Game
war.
7 though.
It was a war though. That playoff
It
series
was a
was a war.
war. It was a war, but they lost.
The Tampa series we had was destruction. We
That
destroyed
was a
Tampa.
war.
Yeah.
The Battle of Florida was, in my opinion, I think was my favorite series, other than the Stanley
It was
Cup
also the
final.
shortest series the Panthers had. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
destroyed them. That wasn't even close.
Hot
So
take.
go ahead.
Sorry, hot take. Tampa's overrated. I think Kucherov's done. Not done. I think Kucherov's done his prime. I think Stamkos being gone is huge for Tampa. I think Tampa might fall off.
As much as I would love to see Tampa fall off, Kucherov just put up one of his highest point
So with
seasons.
117 points or some crazy number.
I don't believe that you can say Tampa's overrated, especially with Kucherov saying he's past his prime. I think if anything, if we're talking about players who could score a lot of goals, I think Kucherov deserves, out of respect for the other Florida team down there, Kucherov should be in the conversation for goal scorers as well. He actually could be just up there as well if he doesn't have Stamkos to pass the puck to, so he's going to shoot it. I mean, he has Braden Point, who's going to be a great player next season as well. And they just added Jake Gensel, which is a very
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I did. I totally forgot about that.
a very interesting ad. So I
And
think that
Carolina
no
kind of just
idea.
said, "Screw it."
Carolina doesn't have any money. Carolina is broke.
No,
So
no.
that leads me into the next thing. So we just talked about who's going to lead. We were talking about who we think could lead for goals. Let's talk about something else that we can predict way too early, and that's Macklin Celebrini went to the San Jose Sharks. Here's my question for you about him. Does he play?
Yes, I think he does the training camp. I think he plays first season. I don't know how well he's gonna do, but I think he plays first season. I think he has a great first season. I think he gets. You know, I have a bet. I'm guessing he's gonna get a hat trick his first season.
Just one hat trick in his first season?
Just at least one hat trick.
Or do you think he's going to pull Matthews 4 goals in his first game?
No, I don't think so.
I don't
But
think the Sharks risk Celebrini having a bad season. I also think the Sharks are in such a cap hell that they're willing to wait a season before burning a year of his entry level deal. So I don't think he plays this season. I think the Sharks keep him away from as far away from the dumpster fire of the team that they have, because they want to be bad. They want one more. If they can get one more Macklin Celebrini, then hey, they could be good.
that is true. They might do it. The question is he going to be good?
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna be
Well,
good.
I think he's going to be better than Bedard. I think he'll be not by much, but I think he will be better than Bedard.
From what I've heard, he's a better, more complete player than Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard's one of the greatest goal scorers that we've had come out of juniors in a very long time. From what we obviously saw, his shot's insane. It makes no sense. His goal scoring touch is really good. But from what I heard, Macklin Celebrini is a better all-around player than Connor Bedard. But
Defensively, he'll be more important.
Goal scorer. I think he's going to be a better. It's hard to compare, but if I had to compare players, I think he's gonna be more of a Sidney Crosby player. If not saying he's going to be Sidney Crosby, not trying to
No, I know what you mean.
How Bedard came in and he's automatically the next Austin Matthews or Alexander Ovechkin for the goal scoring touch he's going to have, and versus this guy who I think is just gonna come in and be a great player throughout his career, if not a amazing elite player like Sidney Crosby is. I'm just going to use Crosby as a comparison. Don't forget, when Crosby came into the league, he absolutely destroyed the league. I know you're a little younger, so it's harder for you to remember that. You weren't as big as a hockey fan as I was back then, but Crosby came in and destroyed the league.
Question is, how many goals is Celebrini going to score in his first season? I say 40.
I don't think he scores 40 goals his first season, and I don't think this is his first season. I think next season is his first season, and I give him 25.
Not goals. I mean points. I say he scores at least 40 points.
Oh,
sorry, I misspoke.
Okay, so you say at least 40 points. I say if he does come, so let's say if he does start this season, I don't think he starts right away. I think he plays 60 games out of 82. I don't think he plays a full season. Let's say he plays 82 games or 64 games, something like that. I give him he's really got nobody to help him out. I give him 35 to 40 points.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be a point of game player, but how can you be a point of game player on a team as bad as
Who do the Sharks even have?
I believe they still have Logan Couture, so that would be a little bit of help for him. But
Tomas Hertl's gone.
I want to say they have Duke, do they not? Anthony Duclair? No, he left them to go to the Lightning. That's right, they traded him to the Lightning, so never mind on that.
The Sharks are just empty. They have nothing.
Who did? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up their roster really quickly. You really think Macklin Celebrini plays this season on the
Here we go.
Sharks? Okay.
Justin Bailey, Logan Couture, William Ackland, Michael Granlund's on the Sharks.
He's old.
Yeah,
No.
Tyler
I'm thinking
Toffoli.
of the other one. Tyler Toffoli. Okay, you know what? Macklin
Yeah.
Celebrini. They did get Tyler Toffoli this offseason. Macklin Celebrini might play. That might be the toy they got him. So Macklin Celebrini
Who
might play.
else?
They might
Alexander
take a step
Wenberg. He's all right.
up. I think he's past
He's
the
not.
step.
He's not.
He's
Yeah.
not what he used to be.
Defensively, I think they're empty.
No, defensively they're in the hole. They're
Jake Wallman,
Yeah, but
Mr. Gritty. Yeah, Mr. Gritty.
that's it.
I think
Moving
that's
on
it.
from the Sharks, because the Sharks would make this a very depressing episode. So moving on from the Sharks, let's talk about Mr. Alex Ovechkin. We brought him up earlier in the season recap. Alex Ovechkin is 41 goals behind the Great One. Do you think he does it this season?
How many goals did he have last season? 30. Was it 36?
Alexander Ovechkin had, go ahead and pull it up. I will continue to talk as you pull it up. I believe he had in the 30s range, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had 34.
Yeah, 31 goals
Oh, 31. Okay, so yeah.
in 79 games.
31 goals in 79 games. He needs 41 to pass the Great One, Wayne Gretzky. Does he do it this season?
He has reached over 41 goals.
Oh, no, like he's reached over
Yeah.
41 goals.
I think he's going to do it. I think he'll do it. I think this was a slow season for him because Capitals kind of suck, to be honest. I think he does it.
I remember the conversation we had about this at the beginning of last season was completely different. 10 games in, I had this conversation with you, and you said, I was like, we should bet on Ovi. Last season, we kind of felt out the waters for betting hockey. Like, I introduced Zach to hockey bets, so we kind of, like, this is what led into this podcast, is like me getting him in the hockey betting. And I was like, bet on Ovi to score the next game. And you told me he hasn't scored yet. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The next game, he scored, like, what is it, 5 games straight since you said that, and you're like, he is back. And then midway through the season, we pulled his stats.
Ovi's awake.
Yeah, I was like, Ovi's awake now. Yeah, he was scoring empty netter goals, but
There's still goals.
goal. Yeah, a goal is a
Yeah,
goal.
goal's a goal.
You make the argument you want. I still think Wayne Gretzky, I still think Alexander Ovechkin, will go down as the greatest goal scorer of all time. 41 goals this season. Give me your answer, yes or no.
Yes.
You say yes.
I say yeah.
I say he finishes the season with
40.
39 goals. 39.
Call me crazy. I think Ovi gets one last hat trick from his office for his final season. No, actually, yeah, it could be his final season. This very well could be his last season.
This is not his final season.
You don't think so?
Ovechkin. He still plays better than most players.
He was playing professional soccer this year, so he's still going.
He's a freak athlete. Ovi's not done yet.
No.
Ovi is far from done.
We'll see.
I think the question that I would ask is he done on the Caps? I think that would be a better question.
No, I don't think so.
Although I can't see him in another jersey, maybe the Caps do. Maybe they can't afford him anymore. Maybe they retain.
Stamkos could be a Stamkos situation where he goes to just some random team for like the last few years.
You can't let the greatest goal scorer of all time walk. They would never let him walk. I think he has 2 years on his contract, so I think we're still a little out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
this
that.
conversation. Yeah, so I think we're still a little bit out from this conversation, but I do think Ovi breaks the record. It might not be this season, but I think it's in the next 2 seasons. Even if he stays around and like for the next 4 seasons scores 10 goals a season, he'll do it. It's Alexander Ovechkin. He makes no sense. He's a freak athlete. He'll break the record eventually. Moving on, though, we're going to talk about our make or break. So let's talk about who will make the playoffs and who will break. So, which team from last year, Zach, will make the playoffs that missed the playoffs last year, and what team that made the playoffs last year will miss?
I think Caps miss. I think Penguins make it.
So you're just interchanging the two rivals. You're saying Pens are in, Caps are out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do Eastern Conference first because that's what we just talked about first. So we'll do a team from the East, and then we'll do a team from the West each. So I'll give you a second to pull up the standings if you would like. I'm going to say the Capitals missed the playoffs, and I'm going to say the Penguins are in. I actually agree with you. I'm going to put an asterisk there. I'm going to say there is a possibility that the Red Wings are also in the playoffs, and I say the Islanders are a team we need to watch as well.
Who do they really have though? Did they pick anything up?
The Islanders never have anybody, but they're
Then
always a team that you need to watch.
yeah.
They have Ilya Sorokin. That's all. That's all they really need.
One of the greatest goalies, one of the greatest active goalies right now, Ilya Sorokin. I say Capitals miss. I say Penguins make it.
You say
I say
Capitals miss, Penguins make it.
yeah. I say. Trying to think.
Because the Isles
I say
did the Hurricanes sweep the Isles?
no. 4-1.
4-1. That's right.
4-1. Yeah.
The reason why I was saying to keep an eye on the Isles is because I think they missed the playoffs. That's why I was saying keep an eye on them.
Who do you think takes their place? Oh, the Devils.
The Devils could be a team that yeah.
I think the Devils might make it. I think they might get swept, to be honest.
So
but
much hype around the New Jersey Devils.
Jakob Markstrom.
Not even just the team in general. I do think the Devils make the playoffs. So yes, I agree. So Devils, I think Caps and Isles are out. I think Penguins and Devils are in, with the honorable mention, the Detroit Red Wings. I don't think they make it in, but I think they're a team that could make it in. So if they make it in, you heard it here first. Today is
August 17th.
August 17th at 2:23 a.m. I am saying that the Red Wings could possibly make the playoffs. That would cause one of those big Atlantic teams to miss. But I don't think
I think if any of them are going to miss, it's going to be Tampa.
I think it'll be the Bruins.
You don't think the Bruins will miss? You think they might miss?
I don't think they miss. But if a team has to take a step back, it doesn't make sense for it to not be the Bruins. Like, just look. I'm doing this by giving you which team looks better on paper. The Bruins look the worst out of all these teams on paper.
Oh, 100%. Well, but then again, the Leafs look one of the best on the paper, and they still suck.
Well, that's because it's the Leafs.
We're cursed.
Moving on to the Western Conference, what is your team that misses the playoffs and your team that makes the playoffs?
I think I'm gonna look at it again. I think I have a funny feeling the Golden Knights are gonna miss.
You think the Golden Knights missed the playoffs?
But I think barely.
I don't think that's an option for them, if I'm being completely honest.
But yeah, now that I'm looking at it, Seattle I think is gonna be a lot better than they were last year. But I don't know how different. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the West changes much at all.
So what I have for the West, I have the Central's gonna be exactly the same. I think Stars, Jets, Avs, and the Predators make it in. Not in that particular order. I think the order moves around quite a bit. In the Pacific, I think that's where it changes. I think the Kings do not make the playoffs. In the place of the Kings, I give it to the Seattle Kraken. I think the Kraken make it into the playoffs. I also think that there is a chance. Now, this means both wild cards would have to go to the Central, and that means another Pacific team would have to drop out of the playoffs. And I don't think the Canucks, Oilers, or Golden Knights are going to miss the playoffs. But if they do, I'm going to give the runner-up to the Utah Hockey Club because I think their GM is going to go out and spend a lot of money. I think he's going to do whatever he can to make this team a contending team. I think if they make it, they get swept in the first round. Actually, no, what am I saying? This is a Cinderella story. They're not going to make it. If they do make the playoffs, there's going to be a Disney movie about it in 5 years. But they're not going to. So,
hear me out. Utah Hockey Club Stanley Cup 2024-2025.
No.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying what if? If it
Look,
happens, I want to see a Utah Hockey Club Disney movie. It's got it.
if I won't, I'll put this on the podcast now. If the Utah Hockey Club wins the Stanley Cup this year, I will eat my shoe. Okay, it is
Call
not
it,
going.
time it. 227, August 17th, 2024.
I'm. It's not gonna happen. Okay, if it does, I'll eat my shoe. Okay.
You heard it here, folks.
All right. So because we're talking about who misses and who makes it, give me your way too early season prediction for the Stanley Cup final. Give me your two teams that are in the final.
I see, I've already placed bets on this. I see the Nashville Predators
Okay.
and the, call me crazy, I think the Panthers go again.
Why would I call you crazy?
You won't.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So you have Predators
think it's
Panthers. You think it's the
Predators
Kitty
Panthers.
Bowl. You think it's the
The
Kitty
Kitty
Bowl.
Bowl. Oh my God, the Kitty Bowl.
The Kitty Bowl. All
The
right.
Kitty Bowl.
I have a rematch from the 1996, 1997, or
Oh, he's old.
1996
Here he comes.
season.
He's old.
I have a rematch from the 1996 season. I have the Florida Panthers making it back because they're bringing the same core back. I don't think it's going to be as smooth as a playoff run as they had this year. I think there's going to be some hiccups. I think there's going to be some adversity. I think the regular season record is going to be worse than last regular season, but it doesn't matter. The boys are probably being hung over for the first half of the season. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think the Panthers return to the Stanley Cup final because I think the streak of it being in Florida in the past 4 years continues. I think the Panthers return to the Cup final. And I have the Colorado Avalanche in the West.
I mean, they do have the best defenseman in the league on their team and one of the best goal scorers in the league on their
They
team.
have Nathan MacKinnon. I don't think you can ever bet against Nathan MacKinnon. And that's why I have the Colorado Avalanche to win 2 games in the series and the Florida Panthers to raise the cup for 2 years in a row. Nice try. I would never bet against my own team. I saw I saw the gears turning when I had you going there. You thought I was going to say the Colorado Avalanche would win. No, absolutely
There's no
not.
way in hell. I don't think so. I think
think
the
I
problem with the Avalanche is, yes, they're fantastic defensively. Yes, Georgiev's an okay goalie. The problem is that they don't have much forward depth.
I think
I
it's
think
debatable. I think they have a really stacked forward core. I think they rely too heavy on Nathan MacKinnon. I think that's okay. I think Nathan MacKinnon is that good that you can rely on him. He is their Connor McDavid. He's one of the best hockey players in the world. I think if he's healthy, they also this season didn't have their captain. Gabriel Landeskog was out for surgery. He never even played a game this season. So they went all season without him and they were fine. So I don't know if he's going to be back next season or not. If he is, that's an addition to the team that's like right there. That's their captain back. So I think they go to a Stanley Cup, but they just won a cup. What is it? 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Something
yeah,
like that.
2022, 2 years ago.
Yeah, they won it 2 years ago, and I think they go there, and I think they go against the current Cup champions, and I think the current Cup champions beat them out.
Do Leafs exit first round again?
Do Leafs exit first round again?
Call me crazy. I actually think they might make it to the second and then lose to the Panthers anyway. But
I think they're going to play the Panthers in the first round.
you think so?
I think so.
Isn't it first and third seed
I
play?
don't think the Panthers are the best team in the Atlantic this season.
I don't think the Leafs are either, though.
I think the Leafs
Actually, who else would be other than the Panthers, though? Bruins, I don't think so. Tampa, I don't think so.
Leafs.
Red Wings, I don't think so.
I think the Leafs finish number 1 in the Atlantic.
I think it goes. If anything, it's going to go Leafs. I don't know.
I think the Panthers are in party mode for the first half of the season, so I think they come out cold. I think they don't care about their record for the first beginning of the season. They just care about getting back to the Cup final because they know what it's like to touch the Cup and they want it again.
That poor
Alexander
Cup, man.
Barkov said in a interview he doesn't want to be greedy, but he never wants to lose the Cup again. I think they named the city after Barkov over in, where is he from, Finland or something like that? They named it Barkov City or something like that, at least for a day. So
That's cool. That's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So Barkov wants the cup again. Chucky, Chucky wants the cup again.
Chucky's nuts, dude.
Yeah, like
Chucky, he'll go for it.
you can call me biased because I am 125% blinded by bias, but I've also been through the pain of a team who I couldn't imagine getting 30 wins in a season, let alone win the Stanley Cup. So you can say what you want. I'm gonna ride this high while I can. I got Panthers, Avs in the Cup final. Panthers winning again. That brings us to our next question. Would you bet on it? You already did. You bet on the Predators to win the Cup.
I bet a crazy lottery bet. Put $5 for the Denver Nuggets to win the NBA championship next year. I bet the Nashville Predators to win the Stanley Cup Finals, and I bet Argentina to win Copa America, which already happened, and it'll pay 2,000.
I know nothing of the NBA, so best of luck to you for the Nuggets.
That was it. I just said fuck it and went for it.
I know nothing of the
That
NBA.
was my guess.
I will be putting money down on the Panthers to win the Stanley Cup. I can confirm. I will be.
Until you lose $5. I'm kidding.
I won $150 this year. So
hey,
yeah.
Nathan McKinnon won me $70 last year.
Same. You're welcome. That was my bet. Remember?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, yes, it was for the heart. That was my bet.
Yep.
I told you to make that bet, and you're like, it's Matthews, man. And I was like, no, and you're like, oh no, it's definitely gonna be McDavid though. And I'm like, put McDavid.
I also had $5 for Barkov to win the Conn Smythe, and that robbed. I mean, actually, I don't know if I'll say robbed. I think Connor McDavid did deserve it.
Connor McDavid's the first person to win the Conn Smythe on the losing team since I think it's Gier on the Ducks.
In what, 04?
I think I think 04 because they won it in 07, I believe. 06, 07, something like that. So it might be I'm going off of memory, guys. So like if you guys are like if there's a Ducks fan, he's like, how do you not know this? Because I'm going off of memory and like I got a lot of shit in here.
Ducks haven't been relevant in 15 years, so
I disagree. Completely. The Ducks were highly relevant for a very long
You think?
time.
Oh, I guess I don't know that. Correction. I'll say the Ducks haven't been relevant in 7 years.
I disagree on that too. Say 3.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say 3 years.
Were they a lot better? Okay, I haven't looked that far back, but from what I didn't even
like 6 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
So Zach just became a hardcore hockey fan, which is gonna make this podcast fun. So it's gonna be a podcast that not only appeals for you hardcore hockey fans. Well, let's be honest, you're all hardcore. You'll listen to a show about people talk about hockey, but also the people who want to get into hockey. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Moving on to our favorite section of the podcast. Welcome to the Breakaway Bets. We are going to do a section of the podcast every time where we will give you our breakaway bets for the podcast, and then we will give you a parlay. Except today, we don't have a parlay because, well, for obvious reasons, the hockey season has not started yet. The preseason's around the corner. You best bet we're making parlays on the preseason. That's coming. So they're going to be a lot of fun. So anyways, moving on to the breakaway bet of the podcast. Our breakaway bet is going to be who scores the most goals in the NHL this season. The safe shot is obviously, I think we can agree on this, Auston Matthews. The odds for Auston Matthews, for at least my sports book, I use Hard Rock Bet. That's the only legal sports gambling app in the state of Florida. So that is the one that I have to use. Zach, which one do you use?
I use Bet365.
You use Bet365. So
yeah.
With Matthews obviously being the safe bet, who is your clap bomb? The reason why we call it a clap bomb is because obviously when you're on the breakaway, the safe shot's going to be that clean 5-hole. You beat the goalie there most of the time. It's a safe shot. But the clap bomb is going to be the player you skate in and just fire an absolute ripper on net with. This could completely miss the net, or it could sail right by the goalie. Zach, who are you have taken your clap bomb?
So, for short context here, growing up, I loved the Nashville Predators. I think UC Saros is by far my favorite player of all time. I think Philip Forsberg goes off.
So you think Philip Forsberg leads the league?
I think Philip Forsberg, with the new players he has with him, as Jonathan Marchessault and Steven Stamkos, I think Philip Forsberg is going to have a crazy season with a
So
crazy goalie in net and a crazy first line.
So just as for context, Philip Forsberg on the bet-in books is a plus 1,500 for me.
Mine's plus 1,800.
Yours is plus 1,800.
Yeah.
If you believe in it, would you take that bet?
Yeah, I'd bet $1. Bet $1, get a what, 19 back?
So for
Yeah.
me, if I were to bet $1, which when I do bets, I bet $2. $2 would pay out $32 at the end of the season. My bar down that I have leading the league in goal scoring. We're gonna run it back because I did it for the Heart last year. I have Nate Mack leading the league in goal scoring this season. I am right now placing my bet for $2 for Nathan MacKinnon. It has been placed for Nathan MacKinnon on my app for him to lead the league in scoring.
Oh, it's too dark. Can't see
That's
it.
fine. You don't have to show it. Nathan MacKinnon, $2 pays out $32. I took Nate Mack as my bet to lead the league in goal scoring this season.
I bet $1 on Philip Forsberg. Give me my 20 bucks.
Mine was plus 1,500 on both. Philip Forsberg, I think, is a true shot in the dark. I don't necessarily see that happening, but I could be wrong. He does have Stamkos now. They did bring in some weapons, so it's going to be quite interesting to see if that is. I think Nathan MacKinnon goes, I want to win, and just does it because it's Nathan MacKinnon and he can do that kind of thing. That has been this episode's breakaway bet, guys. We're going to do one of these each episode, a shot in the dark. We're going to give you the safe bet, and then we're going to give you the shot in the dark bet that we are going to take and make ourselves. We both make our bets. Every week we will make these bets. So in the future episodes, we will have a parlay available for you once we obviously get the hockey season rolling and stuff like that. Especially this upcoming season, we do have like the World Cup of Hockey is back.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of hockey this season. It's going to be a very exciting year to cover. So that's why we decided to start this podcast, because we want a way to talk about hockey without doing it while we're in the middle of playing video games, because it pisses off our friends. So we want to do it here, and that's what we're going to do. So one other thing we're going to do, guys, and we're going to leave this in the YouTube comment section down below, but we're also going to put it on the Spotify, is we're going to do a poll each episode. So this poll is going to give you a little bit of a taste of what we were going to talk about on next week's episode. You are going to get one podcast a week until, well, hockey season's over. Once it starts back up, there might be more. There won't be less, but there might be more, and you never know. Depends on how active the week is. Our poll this week is going to be plain and simple, guys. What could be the next NHL expansion city? Let us know in the comment section down below. We're going to give you our answers next week on the podcast. This poll is available in the poll section on Spotify and, of course, in the YouTube comment section down below. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, thank you so much. Be sure to check out the YouTube portion if you want to see our beautiful faces. If you're listening to this on the YouTube section and you want to be able to listen to us on the go and you don't have YouTube Premium, check out the Spotify section. Doing both really helps us, guys. We do appreciate all the support. Be sure to follow us on social media. I'm Blad, obviously. You can find me on youtube.com/Blad. You can also find me on youtube.com/I'mBlad. You can also find me on youtube.com/BladHC, which is where this video is going to. You can also find me on Twitch and on Discord. Discord will be in the link down below.
Discord's the same for me, but you can find me on, I don't really stream on YouTube or anything, but you can find me on Twitch on twitch.tv/I'mAzrael.
He's
Or is it I'mAzrael?
I don't know your Twitch name.
I don't know either.
It's in the link down below.
It'll be down below. I don't remember it anymore. Yeah, it'll be there. But yeah, Discord's the same. Everything's the same. I really only stream on Twitch here and there occasionally.
And we will also, guys, we will be doing a reaction to the new Chell trailer once it drops, if it ever drops. If we even get a new Chell, they could be gone forever. It was supposed to be out 2 days ago, and we still haven't heard about it. So you guys will keep your eyes out on the YouTube channel, because I was gonna do a reaction to that anyways. Might as well tie the podcast into it. Why not? So, guys,
that's gonna do it for us today. Be sure to check the Spotify and the YouTube to find next week's episode of your new favorite hockey podcast.
Deuces.